Star Wars Battlefront 2 just received a very unique update, adding 2 droids as playable heroes, BB-8 and BB-9E, a controversial decision. Along with bringing the newly titled Supremacy, they removed the capital in Capital Supremacy, to the sequel era, with maps on Aegin Kloss, the new Rise of Skywalker planet, as well as Jakku and Takodana. These maps have also been added to instant action, but if you're playing Supremacy, you'll notice the 2 new sequel era capital ships, the Resistance MC-85 Star Cruiser and the First Order's Resurgent class Star Destroyer, are playable during the second phase of this game mode. So lots of content in this new Battlefront 2 update, basically 5 new or redesigned maps including the capital ships, the 2 new heroes, and also 2 new emotes for Finn and Kylo, the most important part of this update. Hey everyone, it's Andrew. So that's everything in this new update, but today what I want to do is compare the 2 new heroes, BB-8 and BB-9E, talk about their strengths and weaknesses, and work out which is the best droid of the 2, and if including droids as heroes in Battlefront 2 was a good idea. I know when they got announced, a lot of people were either excited or skeptical about their arrival into the game. People thought the devs had lots more characters to choose from and didn't understand why they chose 2 tiny droids who'd potentially be weaker than all other heroes to play as. The idea that you can play as BB-8 and take down Kylo Ren using his zappy shock prod thing sounds kinda ridiculous, but I think that's what the devs are going for here. They're trying to create a Star Wars sandbox. Like we're kids again, we're playing in the sandbox in a sandpit, in which ridiculous matchups can happen. But before we get into that, I just want to talk briefly about one of the other pieces of information they released with this update's community transmission, Scarif and the Age of the Rebellion. So I think for a while now, lots of us have speculated that once DICE brought Supremacy to the Clone Wars and finished that round of content, and then focused on the Rise of Skywalker and sequel era for the release of the new film, they'd eventually be moving on to the original trilogy and be updating it to include the Supremacy game mode and hopefully bring us more heroes and skins and maps. After all, the original trilogy era has hardly received any content since Battlefront 2 first launched back in 2017. Well, this community transmission confirmed that's about to change. There's no release date just yet on when this content will be dropping into Battlefront 2, but it will definitely be sometime in the next few months. The original trilogy is also the reason the devs decided to rename Capital Supremacy to just Supremacy. They felt the name will better encompass all eras of Star Wars, as the original trilogy will feature completely ground-based gameplay. There won't be any flying up to capital ships mid-match to finish off the round, which makes complete sense. If you're fighting on the Death Star 2, you're not going to suddenly take off and fly to a nearby Star Destroyer. The match will be fought on the Death Star. Now, according to the community transmissions, Scarif is one of the most requested planets to return to Battlefront. And based on the wording of the CT, it sounds like it's going to be the same Scarif map from 2015's Battlefront. The transmission states, and yes, you heard that right, we're bringing Scarif back from 2015's Star Wars Battlefront. So to me, this sounds like the same map, but I'm pretty sure it'll be slightly modified or updated in some way for Battlefront 2. It's hard to imagine them just transferring the map straight over without some minor tweaks, perhaps a slight change in scenery, a ship here or there, whatever. And I also remember the bushes on this map were a bit strange in terms of collision and feeling like you couldn't hide in them. They were just kind of like walls you'd bump into while running around. So you have to think they'll do something about that. But so excited for this map to come to Battlefront 2. Scarif was easily one of the most unique maps to play on from 2015's Battlefront. Honestly, it's probably the best Disney Star Wars planet they've created since Disney took over Star Wars. Most unique anyway. And I'm not sure if you guys remember this, but it does actually already make an appearance in Battlefront 2. It's in the story mode towards the end of the campaign, if you guys remember that. So that's Scarif coming to Battlefront 2, Supremacy, and other game modes really soon. Okay, now onto the bulk of the video. I'm going to take an in-depth look at both BB-8 and BB-9E, compare their abilities, the way they feel when they play, movement, strength, and figure out which is the best of the 2 droids. Obviously, they're both BB droids, so they do move and play quite similar, but there are a few significant differences between the 2. First up, BB-8 is classed as more of an attacking style hero, which is supposed to balance more of the light side heroes which are mostly focused on support. He has an arc welder electroshock prod thing, which is basically an electricity zapping blowtorch. You might remember R2-D2 using this in the movie movies. And his main 3 abilities are centered around being aggressive. Resistance backing scrambles enemy radars while revealing enemies to both himself and his team. If BB-8 is attacked, all revealed enemies will take increased damage when they're attacked. So basically an ability focused on revealing enemies and increasing damage output. Cable spin is next. When activated, BB-8 will deploy his cables in a circle around him and inflict damage to all enemies caught within the cable's reach. This is great for clearing large groups of enemies, and you can also move while it's active to try and hit more nearby enemies. Kind of reminds me of Palpatine's Dark Aura ability, which has a similar effect. And then Rolling Charge, my personal favorite. BB-8 charges forwards and knocks down an enemy in his path. And nearly every time I use this ability and hit someone with it, it was a guaranteed kill. Can't imagine what it'd be like to be slammed in the chest by a spinning metal ball. I guess it'd kill you if it hit you hard enough, and that's exactly what BB-8 does here. This ability is great fun to use and is also good for getting out of dangerous situations if you need a quick escape. You can just activate it and roll really quickly away. Okay, so BB-8's passive abilities include Health on Elimination, where BB-8 regains a bit of health each time he defeats an enemy. Technical Support, a very powerful ability which makes BB-8 count as 2 units instead of 1 when he's capturing a command post or activating objectives. So standing in a command post alone as BB-8 will capture the command post twice as fast as a regular trooper, just counting as 1 unit. And then Swift Reaction, where BB-8 increases the cooldown speed of friendly characters around him, which is more of a support focused ability, but he has it. Okay, on to BB-9E. Again, he's set up as more of a support style hero and doesn't possess the same punching power as BB-8. He has the same electroshock prod main attack as BB-8, which if you hold down for a while in close proximity to an enemy, it'll eventually defeat them. But I felt like his was also stunning the enemies. I couldn't really get a good read on this, but that's potentially what it also does. BB-9E's abilities include Smokescreen, which deploys a dense cloud of smoke, preventing enemies from seeing BB-9E's location while revealing their positions. Great for getting out of danger when you're surrounded or on low health, and then gives you the ability to sneak up behind revealed enemies and take them out with a surprise attack. Get shocked in the butt by a droid. Shock Spin is kind of similar to BB-8's Cable Spin, although this version knocks enemies back while also damaging nearby enemies with its electric pulse. Enemies that are a bit further away, I think just within the spin circumference, will also have their blaster overheated and grenades disrupted, so it really locks you up. And if you keep enemies within the spin, they'll continue to take damage for the duration of the ability. And then Charge Up, where BB-9E emits a pulse that prevents the shock prod and friendly blasters in the vicinity from overheating, and also reduces the recharge time of nearby abilities. A very support-focused ability, this one. To be honest, I didn't find myself using this ability as much, mainly because most of the maps I played on felt very spread out, and it was very rare I was in the close vicinity of nearby allies who I could activate the ability to assist. That, or maybe I'm just a bad support player. That's also very possible. On to passive abilities. 2 out of the 3 BB-9E shares with BB-8, Health on Elimination and Technical Support, where BB-9E counts as 2 units when capturing objectives. BB-9E's third ability is called Vector Support, where he regenerates the health of close by allies. Great for capturing command posts with your team. So based on all these abilities, you can obviously see they both share some similarities, but are also very different in their own ways. Of the 2 heroes, I found BB-8 to be better at raking up more kills, just because he has the Rolling Charge ability, which I could use to both get out of danger and chase down nearby enemies for a pretty much guaranteed kill, and his abilities which assist with dealing more damage to enemies, like Resistance Backing. In terms of roll speed, both droids feel to be about the same or exactly the same. Didn't really notice a difference here. The same goes for their shock prod main attack. Again, I think BB-9Es might also stun enemies, but I can't confirm this, sorry. I haven't done enough research in being shocked by BB-9E to know this. I'll have to ask him to zap me a few more times and see if I feel shocked when he zaps me. Now, I was able to test the droids both in offline instant action and online supremacy. I wanted to jump straight in and guarantee myself I could use them, so started in instant action, learned their abilities, then moved over to supremacy. Before the droids came out, a lot of people were talking about how they'd be weak and act as more support heroes that wouldn't really do too much damage. But I have to say, after using using them in both offline and online modes, I didn't really find this to be the case. Online was definitely harder than playing against just bots, but what BB-8 and BB-9E lack in health, they make up for in speed. I found when playing against both droids, they were incredibly tough to hit just because of how small and quick they were moving around the battlefront. Before I was able to shoot them, they would have either killed me or rolled away to safety. That being said, these aren't the types of characters you take right into the front line in a big group of enemies. There were a couple times when using either droid's spin ability, I'd grab a few kills, but it would only be a few more seconds until I'd get killed or would have to try and get to safety as fast as possible. Very open and exposed in a group of lots of enemies. You're gonna get killed pretty quick. Also, 1v1s against other heroes. Unless they're already on low health, you can pretty much forget about it. You don't want to go and engage with another full health hero, especially one with a lightsaber or force abilities as one of these two droids. You'll get killed, even if the player isn't great at using the hero. That's been my experience anyway, unless you're like a super pro BB-8 player or something like that, I don't know. So, between BB-8 and BB-9E, which droid is better? You can let me know who you think is better in the comments below, but I'm gonna have to side with BB-8 because of his more aggressive abilities, allowing him to more easily take down more enemies. I've played the new update for a few hours now and still haven't gotten the chance to actually face the two droids off against one another. That'd be interesting to see who wins a 1v1 with the two droids, but overall, in combat against both AI and real players, BB-8 takes the win for me. His rolling charge ability really gives him an edge in terms of speed and damage dealt, and resistance backing also really assists with his higher damage output. The fact he can use these abilities to clear enemies at a command post, then his passive ability will help you take the command post, seals the win for BB-8. But that's not to say BB-9E isn't a very capable little droid of his own. I've just found less instances in which his abilities came in handy. Perhaps that's just the situations I've been in or the maps I've played on. So was adding BB-8 and BB-9E to Battlefront 2 a good idea? When these two droids were announced as playable heroes, a lot of people were skeptical and unhappy they overlooked characters like Poe Dameron and General Hux, and instead went for these two small, underpowered droids. Well, based on the way they feel and play in the game, I hope lots of people have changed their minds about this decision. Both droids are fun, unique characters and add another dimension to Battlefront 2 gameplay we've never seen before. They play fast, making things hectic and chaotic, and I'm personally having a great time with them. I really don't feel like they're at all underpowered, and I honestly can't see General Hux running around the battlefront trying to take down the Resistance firsthand. Really? This guy? Come on. But what are your thoughts? Which droid hero do you like using better? And are you glad they've added BB-8 and BB-9E as playable heroes? Let me know in the comments. And stick around on the channel because over the next week, I'm going to be covering lots more of this update, including videos about some of the new maps and 50 insane details. We'll be back real soon. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Discord for more Star Wars and gaming and life stuff. And thanks for watching this. My name's Andrew. I'll catch you soon.
Stay bombastic.